Right, well, I was going to do this video inside my car, but because it's such a lovely day, I thought I'd do this outside the car and rest you on top of my car. Now, I need to bring this to people's attention because I've had many cars in the past. I'm a big petrol head and car fan, etc. I've had M3s, M4s, Range Rovers, Porsche Boxsters, lots of Porsche Boxsters actually, and that's what this video is about. I had, years and years ago, a 330 Sport Cabriolet, a BMW, and I went into Park Lane Porsche and saw this Boxster, a silver Boxster, a Boxster S, and there was a video on screen and it was called Where Sport Begins, with this voiceover that really made it sound like a movie. It really gave some heart and soul to the video itself, and me being an advertising guy fell for it, hook, line and sinker. Where Sport Begins, deep voice kind of thing. Got there, you could tell I'm in Nottingham. Deep voice and the roar of the engine, etc., and all the videography and helicopters flying overhead with the Boxster flying towards you, etc., and the sound of them changing gears, and it sold it to me. I wanted one. I went back to Porsche Nottingham, or Porsche, whatever you want to call it. I think it is Porsche. And I went to Porsche Nottingham and I saw Martin, who has been on my videos many times. I didn't get that one on video, I don't believe. The very first one I didn't get on video, but I did get one of them. I think I got the blue one on video when I collected that. But I collected my first ever Porsche Boxster. It was amazing. I test drove it, I loved it. The engine, the sound of it, it was a flat six, the roar of the engine with the roof down, and for me it left the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end. It was a fantastic car. It was, I'd say, possibly one of the best, most enjoyable cars, thrilling cars that I've ever had in my entire life. The handling of it with the mid-engine on it was fantastic, but it was the sound, it was the flat six, it had a roar. And at the time I was married to Sharon, and she said I could hear you like streets away driving up. I loved it. It was Tiptronic at the time. I didn't have the manual version of it, but I had the Tiptronic version of it, and it was fantastic. I loved it. Right, let's get down to why I have an issue now, by the way. In fact, before we go any further, that silver Boxster that I had, the very first Boxster, here's a picture of it now. The silver Boxster, absolutely loved it. That was my very first Porsche Boxster. Amazing. I'll never forget collecting that at all. However, my friend David Joyce, who has been on the videos before, one of the reasons why I got a Boxster, probably the main reason why I got a Boxster, was the fact that he had a yellow Boxster and I loved it. It was great. So I went and saw this one in London and I bought one. And we're going to be speaking to David in another episode later on, when I can manage to meet up with him to see what his thoughts are as a racing car driver as well. Now, Porsche is making a bold move. The gasoline-powered Boxster and Cayman and Macan make up a third, I'm going to put this news story, by the way, in the description down below, it's Engine Patrol, of Porsche's sales. Soon they will be discontinued. My heart sinks. Porsche has decided not to invest in developing a new generation of the Boxster, Cayman or the gasoline-powered Macan. This indicates that the team in Zuffenhausen is prepared to phase out 3 of its most popular gas cars, petrol cars. It's obviously American. It's disheartening and it's saddening that they're actually going to do this. The Boxster and the Cayman was the cars that saved the Porsche brand. Without the Cayman and the Boxster, I don't personally think Porsche would be here. And if you take away the engine in the Boxster and the Macan, what are you left with? A shell with batteries in it? It takes away a lot of the thrill. Now, I've spoken to David Joyce earlier on and he kind of disagrees a little bit, but I'll let him have his say on it at a later stage, because he said it's about the handling, etc. But I'll let him speak for himself at a later stage. I mean, I've actually got pictures of other Boxsters that I had. I had a white Boxster at one point where I did some catalogue shots for, this is before I did the Macmaster, don't laugh, here's some pictures of it now, with me in a grey waistcoat, or a vest if you're in the States, stood next to my car. I think it was the white one I had, yeah, and I was posing around. I was a lot thinner back then, and I had a lot more hair, and I was posing around in that one, and that was the a white one that I had. I believe that was a Boxster S as well. It was a newer version. And then I went on and I had a black Boxster, and it wasn't the S, it was a black Boxster with black wheels, and I nicknamed it the Black Menace for some reason. And there it is, a picture of it now with my mum in it, bless her. So I had that one, and then I had a blue one as well. I had a blue one. No, I had a white one with a red roof first, which I'm not so sure I made the right decision on that one. A white one with a red roof, and that was I think that was the last of the 6-cylinder ones that I had. And then I went on to the blue one, which you've seen in the videos, which was a 4-cylinder with a turbo attached to it, and it lost something, I believe, then as well. When you took the 6 cylinders away, it actually lost something, and I think they did it again because of emissions, etc. So they were my Boxsters. I had quite a few different Boxsters. I think I had a couple more, but I can't remember. I've had loads of Boxsters, but I'll just carry on reading this. The 718 models were already discontinued in Europe due to the general safety regulations, GSR2. That'll be down to the EU and the idiots and the buffoons who work at for the EU, putting out all these daft rules. Like, for instance, the bottle tops now that you get on Lucasade or Diet Pepsi that are now attached on a stupid plastic hinge. That's been dreamt up by some buffoon, pathetic buffoon in the EU who used to get bullied at school and basically is still wet behind the ears now, and has his wife pack him an apple and some corned beef sandwiches. That's the kind of people that work for the EU and bring out stupid regulations like cookie warnings, where you have to have a what do you call it, stop it popping up. Anyway, you know what I mean, to stop it popping up. Can't think of what it is. Plug-in to stop it popping up. All these daft, stupid rules that they're bringing out, and they're ruining cars for us people that really love cars with engines and soul. And it says here, that took effect last week. Earlier in the year, in a statement to Motor One, Porsche 718 spokesperson Oliver Hilger mentioned that keeping the Boxster and the Cayman in Europe was simply not possible. Thanks EU, you buffoons at EU, you pathetic buffoons. Right, just keep out of it. Do you know what? The beige suit wearing, comb over buffoons. The implementation of the directive not only necessitates technical adjustments such as in the control units, but also requires significant changes to development processes. Hilger notes, for instance, management systems will need to be developed and certified for cybersecurity. Cybersecurity risks must be managed, documented and formalised through the vehicle's life cycle. Cybersecurity risks. These factors could not be considered during the development of the 718 combustion models because of the requirements were neither known nor applicable at the time. Retrofitting these measures is not feasible. The mid-engined models will continue to be available outside the EU. That's because they haven't got buffoons working for them like in the EU, but not for long. This week, Porsche's production manager Albert Reimold announced that the last gas-powered Boxster and Cayman will be assembled in mid-2025. My heart sinks. You have just killed the sports car. You have killed the ultimate two-seater sports car by now going to make it all electric. Thanks EU for starting all this ridiculous stupidity off. And I know you're going to say, oh, what about people choking in inner cities, etc., on fumes? It's been getting better and better. It says the Macan, which has also been discontinued in Europe due to the legislation, will remain in production in other regions until 2026. To be fair, you know, the Macan could go electric. That's fine. It's a bigger car. It's not a sports car. Does it really matter? You don't buy a Macan for the sound of the engine, do you? You buy a Macan for basically fitting people in, lots of people in. However, sales figures indicate that Porsche's decision to phase out 3 popular gas cars is a risky move. It's a very risky move, believe me. In 2023, Porsche delivered 87,355 Macan SUVs and 20,518 Boxster and Cayman models to customers. Given that the German automaker sold a total of 320,221 cars last year, the 718 and Macan models were together accounted for just over a third of the sales, totaling 107,873 units. The numbers for the first half of 2024 are similar. Porsche sold 39,167 Macans and 11,886 units of the 982 generation sports cars. Right? This is absolutely... I just can't get my head around with it. The electric Boxster and Cayman are set to debut in 2025. This raises the question, will enthusiasts embrace the absence of a combustion engine? Transitioning to EVs also means the manual gearbox will become obsolete. Now, I had Tiptronic anyway, so it doesn't matter for me, but for the sports enthusiast, the racing enthusiast that likes the heritage of a proper sports car and changing gear and the connection between the car, they're going to lose all that. Definitely tell them in Nottingham. It says, no matter how impressive the electric replacements are, Porsche is likely to lose some customers who only want a performance vehicle with an internal combustion engine. Pricing could also pose a challenge. History shows that EVs are almost always more expensive than their combustion counterparts. Phasing out the conventionally powered 718s will make purchasing a 2-door Porsche with a gas engine significantly more expensive. Right? Currently, a base Cayman costs, this is American, $74,795 after destination and handling fees. Well, the cheapest 911 starts at $122,095. This is $47,300 difference, could alienate many buyers. Would you buy, if you love a sports car, would you buy really? Can it be classed as a sports car if it's an EV? Really? It ridicules the name sports car, doesn't it? Personally, it's just an absolute joke. Could Porsche have taken a different approach? Company officials have indicated that updating the current 718 models to meet new regulations would have been prohibitively expensive for the Macan. There's also issues with the availability of certain parts, etc. Porsche remains committed to its goal of having EVs make up more than 80% of its annual shipments by 2030. It's saddening. I'll put the rest of this story in the description down below, but I've had so many Boxsters. I love the Porsche Boxster. For me, it is the ultimate car, and now with it just being replaced by batteries and ripping out, it's like getting somebody's heart and ripping it out and putting it back with a battery operated one. Now, I know people are going to say, oh, well, a pacemaker kept me alive. That's fine, but I'm sure you'd rather have a real heart. Yes, that's what I mean. You are taking a sports car and ripping the heart out of it and putting batteries in it. You're going to be driving around in a mobile pacemaker. What is the point in it? Porsche, what are you doing? We need to stand up for our rights, because these motor dealers they're appeasing the governments. They're not appeasing the buyers. These stupid buffoons at the governments are the ones that are telling us what we can do. We vote them in, and yet they're telling us what we can do. It needs to stop. So, have Porsche basically just killed the sports car altogether, globally? You answer me that question in the comment section down below. Rant over, but I feel really strongly about this. I love the 718 Boxsters and the original Boxsters. What an ultimate car that was. That's all from me today. Share this on social media, share it across Facebook, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I've literally got spit everywhere. I feel that passionate about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.